Colleagues, we continue our working day, and now I give the floor to the representative of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, Chief Intelligence Department, Vadym Skybytskyi. Good afternoon, everyone. Now to your attention is the current situation and trends on the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. During the week, the situation in the ETO area remains difficult and characterized by the following indicators. Hidden preparation of Russian occupation forces to carry out advance and assaults in the regions of Avdiivka, Zaitsevo, Mayorsk, Opatna, and so-called Svetlodarsk Bulge. Also, there are active reconnaissance activities with the use of air drones, subversive groups, and the use of modern systems of radio and radio-technical reconnaissance. Also, they continue to relocate heavy weapons to the line of confrontation, and also they supply ammunition to the frontline area. Also, there are training of 1st and 2nd Army Corps that are carried out in the single system of preparation of and training of Russian forces. Also, reconnaissance bodies of Ukraine recorded a number of violations of Minsk agreements as to withdrawal of weapons and military equipment. There were 45 cases, and in 15-kilometer area there were 50 tanks, and the place of their deployment wasn't identified. In the 25th-kilometer area there were 70 units of artillery systems and self-propelled artillery systems. In 35-kilometer zone, there were 9 cases of violations. There were 24 units of Grad system in the regions of Bokovo-Platovo, Gorlovka, Dokuchaevsk, Donetsk, Malinovo, and Kharkiv. The stated information was provided to JSSC of OSCE. And also the intensity of fire increased, and the enemy used in the course of shelling 122 millimeter and 152 millimeter artillery systems, and also mortars. This was the peculiarity of this week, and starting from 29th of July till 4th of August, there were 412 shellings and assault actions. The majority were in Donetsk area, 205 cases. This is 50% of the overall number. And also the threat is there that Russian occupation forces can advance or carry out some assault actions in the Donetsk and Luhansk areas, and the enemy bring new supply to 3rd and 5th detached motorized brigades, and medical and military staff are brought from their holidays back. And also they discharge those servicemen who were lightly wounded from hospitals. In Donetsk, Gorlovka, Yanakevo, Makiivka, and Kharkiv, they delivered training to medical workers in order to accept large number of wounded. Also, they decided to open blood transfusion stations and also bring new supplies of medicines and food. The enemy continues to carry out reconnaissance activities, both at the line of contact and also in the rear. Also, there were recorded 13 flights of air drones. And in order to increase the capabilities of these air drones, they modernize them, and they test new air drones bought from China. And they modernize the glider, and they plan to establish their own software. It is done to hide the use of Russian equipment, especially air drones, in the territory of Ukraine. Moreover, they actively use subversive groups. Military clashes with these groups are registered near Mariinka and twice in the region of Bogdanovka. With a view to increase their reconnaissance capabilities near in Volnovasky region, near Razdolne. There was work of the Zudaist complex recorded, and this is a complex that is produced by Russian Federation. And also Russian commanders pay more attention to the activities to confuse ATO forces. The enemy continues to create fake defense positions along the line of conflict, especially in the region of Sakhanka. Chief Intelligence Department of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine repeatedly confirmed that the commanders of Russian occupation forces intentionally hide real number of those who died in the east of Ukraine. It was established that commanders of the 1st and 2nd Army Corps repeatedly gave orders to the commanders of structural divisions and commanders of medical units to reduce the number of casualties. And according to Chief Intelligence Department, from 25th till 31st of July, confirmed losses of the enemy, 29 were killed and 67 were wounded. Also, there are active operative and military training in the 1st and 2nd Army Corps. Today, they completed commander and staff training that were during 4th and 5th of August, and also there were some, they get ready to Caucasus 2016 training, and this training will be conducted in September this year. And according to our assessment, there is a threat of use of this training as the element of preparation for military actions that was done in 2008. As you remember, in September, there was aggression of Russian Federation against Georgia, and in the course of training Caucasus 2008, Russian Federation created a battle group that was used in the territory of southern Georgia. At the same time, military training is on the way, and the polygons Novopalevsky, Torez, Markina, Shemshinevka, Uspiensky.
They conduct exercises, combat exercises, and they also train in offensive and defensive operations. The Chief Intelligence Department of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine continue to collect facts about the identities of Russian occupation troop officers who take part in military actions in order to provide these evidences of the war crimes to the International Criminal Court in future. We have ascertained the identities of the commanders of the artillery units of the 5th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade, which took part in the destruction of the civil infrastructure in the Donetsk region, and also in the death of civilians in Novotroysk, Starognativka, and Bogdanivka. We have the command staff of artillery units of the 5th Separate Motorized Rifle Brigade. We have this information at our website. In many cases, they are regular staff officers on the command positions in the Russian Federation forces. Developments of the situation in the occupied Crimea in the framework of increasing the military fighting efficiency of the joint force grouping of the military forces of the Russian Federation in Crimea, they strengthen the ground component in the northern part of the peninsula, according to the order of the Chief of Staff of the Air Landing Forces, Lieutenant General Ignatov, issued on August 1st in the the town of Jinkoi, they will start forming the 97th Air Assault Regiment. In particular, in 2017, they plan to develop the battalion, and during 2018-2019, the process of this regiment forming will be completed. The marine component of Joint Force Grouping continues to be strengthened in the Crimea. On July 29th in the Baltic Sea, the trial trip of new 3rd Frigate Admiral Makarov started. It is equipped with the guided missile system Caliber NK, which provided the opportunity to hit the targets all over Ukraine. By the end of 2016, it is expected that the ship will be included in the Sotis division of super-iron ships of the Black Sea of the Russian Federation based in Sebastopol. After this frigate, Admiral Makarov will be included into the Black Sea fleet. There will be 7 ships with guided missile systems Caliber. This way, the Russian Federation forces are being strengthened in the Crimea. Now I'm ready to answer your questions. Thank you, Mr. Skybytskyi. Are there any questions, dear colleagues? You're welcome. First of all, thank you to your agency and you personally for your efforts. They are very important for the nation. The MP Teteruk stated that Nadia Savchenko is the Putin's agent, but we are interested in the stand of Ukrainian intelligence. What is your attitude about the MP who is in Narodny Front faction? And during one of your briefings, you stated that ex-minister Zakharchenko works at the staff in Moscow. How can you comment on Mykola Melnichuk? Taken as an advisor with the administration in Kiev, what should be the Ukrainian intelligence service actions in this case? We do not comment the events in our state because this is outside of our competence. We mostly trace the external threats. We are responsible for military and political domains. As concerns Zakharchenko and his work against Ukraine, the information concerning Zakharchenko and his accomplices, it was operatively provided to the Security Service of Ukraine, and the internal checks into his activities, this is the responsibility of the Security Service of Ukraine. Are there any more questions? We don't have any more questions. Thank you, Mr.